Hello, friends. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I think I have quite an important topic to discuss. I have definitely got caught up in this misunderstanding before, and so I really want to share it with you guys just in case you haven't heard this before, or if you're still kind of stuck in doing this with your manifestations. So I'm going to tell you the number one thing that I think is a manifestation trap that we all need to avoid. Or maybe you can't avoid it. Maybe you've already been inside of it, but how to get out of it is really important. So if you have ever thought that manifestation means that you can manifest yourself into the type of reality that doesn't have any problems anymore. Or if you think that future you does not have any adversity or any issues, any problems, any of this. This is a huge mistake. Please don't stay here long, okay? So I find that a lot of us, when we first learn about the law of manifestation, we get very, very excited because a lot of us have been very traumatized by life. And so this means we are hoping for something that will basically take away all the pain and take away all or become a promise that there will be no future pain in our life. And I think this is both a very logical response and also not a healthy response, not a fully aware of how life works response. So now that I have a more mature perspective of how the law of manifestation works, how the law of attraction works, and how we can use it in our life to make our life better, to optimize our life, I am well aware that it does not mean that there will never ever be pain again. There will never be disappointment again, or that there will never be bad people in our life again, you know? So let's talk about what you can expect in the future. So here's the thing. Your life will never be perfect. It can never be perfect. Honestly, the point of living is to engage with the contrast of situations and become transformed in a way that only painful situations can provide for us. So I know, I hope I'm not misunderstood when I tell you guys this, but pain can really be a huge gift. The problem is when we live in a world that has so much pain, so much of the time, it makes us numb in such a way that we cannot possibly see the gift within the pain. And this makes living on earth a very specific hardship, I guess. Because while we can create heaven on earth for ourselves, it's not going to be without issues, right? Because it just doesn't exist, you know? And the more you level up who you are, the more that you learn about the world, learn about yourself, develop yourself, the more you realize how useful a lot of the bad things are in our life. And please, please, please hear me when I say this. I am never going to sit here and say anyone deserves anything bad that has ever happened to them. I am never going to say we shouldn't fight for good things. I am never going to say that we shouldn't desire much, much better things and also be proactive in creating that world today. Okay? This is not my way of saying horrible things that have happened deserve to have happened to certain people. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay? I am just going to speak from my experience because that's the only one that I know, and that's the only one that I have any business talking about. Okay? I don't know how you have responded to the things that have happened to you in your life, so I'm not going to go there. I am neither a therapist nor am I you, so I have no business talking about your perspective, okay? And I'm not going to say anything blamey, and I'm not going to say anything hurtful, okay? I am going to tell you how I have responded to my life and how my perspective now can see things in a way that I was not able to see when traumatic things were happening to me, okay? So I am saying with this with so much compassion and so much love and so much appreciation for the good things that I have become in a response to the terrible things that I have experienced, okay? So when I have experienced terrible things in my life, of course, at first, it was quite jarring. But the thing about jarring is it shakes everything that you thought you knew. And it teaches you to reach out for new. And so kind of like a seed being under the earth and not being able to just stay like that. For example, let's say it rains, okay? And that seed is going to open. But now what? It's going to start seeking out sunlight, right? And so eventually it's going to become entirely different from what it was when it first started. And so if you can allow the traumatic situations in your life that have already happened to you, please don't go seeking out new ones. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. Don't be irresponsible, please. I am saying that things that you have no control over that have already happened to you, how can you actually make the best of them without getting stuck in this trap of thinking, yes, because life has been horrible to me, now I only want good things. I understand, I know. But let's not gloss over the fact that bad things that have happened to me in my life have actually turned me into the type of person that I didn't know could exist because it was so different from who I was. And I'm not going to give any credit to the people who have hurt me. They don't deserve that. But I deserve credit for transforming myself and not turning into a product of abuse. A lot of people who have been abused, they just continue this ongoing cycle and they don't stop it and transform themselves into something that didn't exist before. And that's something that I've done. And I'm extremely proud of myself. And so if you are someone who's looking for inspiration and just kind of like a sense of you want to feel okay with bad things that have happened to you because you're just exhausted from holding them all the time, at least appreciate who you've become in response to them, because you deserve credit. You deserve all the credit for being strong, for not turning into a bad person. You deserve so much love and appreciation and celebration for becoming the type of person who would protect you in that specific scenario. And you have become a kind of person who loudly and proudly advocates for people who are in bad situations. You're never going to see me saying, oh, just stay, just pray about it, just X, Y, and Z. No, get the hell out. Stop being in a bad situation. Go seek out every single person and every single resource that is available for people like you. Please go and find a better life, create a better life. But don't just settle for surviving. Once you're transformed, the world is your oyster, right? And so then you can kind of go, okay, because once you're out of the trauma, because let's be honest, that's a very specific type of negativity. I don't have that level of dark energy in my life anymore because now I'm an adult and I don't have to live that way. So I don't. And I have given myself every allowance to say, I don't like this. I'm not going to put up with this. And I don't. So my boundaries have gotten so incredibly tight as a result of the bad things I've endured. And I would not change that for the world. I have become wise in a way that I can sit here and tell you trauma is bad. It shouldn't have happened to you, but since it did, you are not powerless in response. Do you know how much growth and how much wisdom it takes to be able to hold all of these perspectives, all of this truth, all of this awareness in one body and be able to put words to it, to actually be able to convey to you the things I've lived and the things you probably lived too are terrible, and yet here we stand, strong and capable, and in fact, we are stronger for it. Not that we should have gone through it, but since we did. So I am extremely proud of who I've become. I love who I've become. And I love that my mistrust of people makes me hyper aware. When I look out into the world, when I meet people, I can instantly know this is not someone I'm interested in talking to. This is not someone who gets to be around my life because they're dangerous. So the pattern recognition you get to pick up from all the traumatic things you've endured, yeah, that's extremely valuable. And if you're someone with big dreams like I am, what does this make you? It makes you way more capable at building something that you love and are proud of, because it's going to make you super intentional about how you share your progress with the world. If you share your progress with the world, who gets to give you advice and who does not, and what type of advice comes from what kind of person. And it just gives you so much awareness and insight and wisdom for everything that you do, because everything that you've learned, it becomes a part of you. And you get to tap into that wisdom anytime, any place. There is nothing that I've learned that I wish, you know what, that could just go because honestly, I'm never going to need it again. No, I never know how much information I might use from a past time that now I'm in this unique situation, but I can draw from my experience in nursing school. I can draw from my experience as a painter. I can draw from my experience as a video editor. These don't seem to be things that overlap, but you never know when something is going to be just the thing you needed, right? And I would never, ever, ever give that up. Okay. But having boundaries is a huge, huge life changer. It's a huge game changer. And it is so important. The pattern recognition, being able to spot who is safe and who isn't. And also, I think I make so much more intentional choices. For example, I'm the oldest of 6 kids. I come from a very conservative Christian background, and I was the oldest daughter, and I was forced to do lots of labor, and I was mistreated most of my life. And this has made me be very aware that I want a soft life. I don't want to have children. I want to be free to wear whatever I want to wear, whenever I want to wear it. I don't want to be around people who are going to police anything that I do. I am not going to spend my time with anyone who believes that religion gets to dictate how you live your life. I am such a lighthearted person and a dreamer because of how hard my life was in the first part of my life. In the first few decades, first 2 decades were kind of rough, right? And so now I'm just like, okay, I know how much good I want in my life. But this doesn't mean that I'm not going to have arguments with my husband. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden now everything is perfect and my house never gets dirty and my flowers never die and my videos never suck or whatever. Like, just the other day, like my hard drive died and there is tons of footage on it and I'm so disappointed. And I went to get it fixed and they wanted several $100s for it. And I was like, I don't have the budget for that. And I don't make money from my YouTube channel yet. So of course I couldn't do that. So I still face big disappointments in my life, but how I respond to them is so vastly different than the way I responded to them when I was younger. So the future you is still going to have problems, but the question is, how does future you respond to problems? Because now that I think about things in this way, my problems are never a reflection of my self-worth. They're never a reflection of, oh, well, I should have been better. I did the best I could. I'm always trying to be the best I can be. So this is not a helpful way to think about things, right? So instead of going and attacking past me for why this problem arose, I go, okay, how can I avoid this in the future? How can I come up with a solution in a way that's super fun? How can I enjoy coming up with a solution? And how can I distract myself from bad situations when I'm in the midst of it? Because you're going to have bad days, right? Like, people die, bad things happen. It's inevitable, right? And so I think if you can be compassionate with yourself and never ever turn on yourself, I think that's a huge way to ensure that going forward, your life is filled with solutions and with more joyful moments than problematic moments. But if you don't focus on the problem like it's so huge, it can just kind of decrease, right? Because everything in my life that I've been struggling with over the past year, I have just said, okay, what if this is a good thing? How can I think about this in a way that would make me feel like I'm searching for the treasure within that specific moment? So, can I give you guys a great example? So, when I hurt my arm, I was stuck for over a year. I couldn't do things at my normal pace. My right arm was injured. I got tendonitis really bad, and I wasn't able to type. I wasn't able to edit videos. I wasn't able to go to the gym. I couldn't sew anymore. This all happened because I was sewing. I made a bunch of dresses back to back, and I wasn't taking breaks, and it really messed my arm up so bad. Like when it first happened to me, luckily we had a brace at the house, but I remember we went on vacation. That's why I was making all those dresses, and I couldn't like make my hand move really much. Like I couldn't feel my muscles in here. It was really scary. And so it took a really long time for it to recover. And although it's kind of recovered, even just last week, it was starting to feel a little creaky again, like sometimes it just starts feeling like it's not running smoothly. So I just had to take some time off from the gym, and not push my arm so much. And now I do everything that I can with my left arm. I did teach myself to write with my left arm, but it's not neat, and I wouldn't choose to do it because it's very time consuming. But I edit all my videos with my left hand. And if I would not have been so just stuck with my right hand, I would never have had the energy and the willingness to teach myself how to edit with my left hand. It was that painful. But now I can sit here and I can give my right arm time to rest while I edit videos. So I still get to express myself and do wonderful things I love to do, but not in a way that keeps re-injuring my right arm. I also learned to do a lot more things with my left arm, like washing my hair and brushing my teeth. I mean, these are things that didn't feel natural to me with my left hand, but I'm starting to take it more seriously, right? I'm starting to share the load between my hands more so that I can do more in my life, right? And I also learned that from my leg being broken and my arm being injured, that I really enjoy resting. I love sleeping in, I love resting, and I love living a soft life. If I would not have experienced these bad things, I would not have been in a place to allow myself to try these new things, right? And then lastly, with my hard drive, with the example of losing my hard drive, I mean, it's broken. I think technically it still could work if I knew how to access the files, but I just don't feel inspired to like learn how to do that right now. But what it did make me realize is how there's never any shortage of content I can create. And actually, that's what really catapulted me into doing these videos where I'm just talking to the camera. I've actually wanted to share my wisdom and life experience with YouTube for a long time, but I didn't have the right lighting for it. I didn't have the right background for it. I didn't have the confidence to share the things that I've experienced like I do now. And it's so wild that it takes sometimes like you tripping and falling for you to realize, oh my God, I was walking funny, But with each thing that I experience now in my life, they're not huge life-altering issues, right? Well, breaking your leg kind of is, and injuring your right arm kind of is. Never mind. Let me not discredit the pain I experience. But they're not, I'm not losing my house. I'm not unable to eat. I'm not being abused. So I find that these things are relatively easy, I guess, not easy, but easier to deal with, to respond to. And the way that it has shifted my mindset and how I want to do things is massive. And so I'm actually kind of glad my arm was messed up, because without that injury, I wouldn't even have realized like how much better my life can be. Like, you guys know why I started painting, right? If you haven't heard the story, I was working night shift as a nurse. I was working 12-hour night shifts, and I really wanted Heelys, the light up kind, for Christmas, because I was going to take the wheel out for night shift. I was going to walk around at night with my blinky shoes on, and it was going to be super cool. And when I wasn't at work, I could glide around in my Heelys and be super cool, like that lady on TikTok who dances and glides down the street. She looks so fun, right? I wanted to be like that. Well, I had my Heelys for one whole day, and then I fell at Walmart. I was practicing and I was getting confident, and I fell, and in a freak accident, my one leg got caught behind the other and it broke in 3 places. It was insane. And so my husband had to pick me up, put me in the grocery cart, wheel me to the car, and drive me to the hospital where I normally would work. But that time I was there for surgery, and it was insane. And that's what stopped my nursing career, because for 6 months I was on disability. And because of my extreme boredom, I was able to try some new things. And I learned how to paint with a heavy textured acrylic paint. And without breaking my leg, I never would have realized I really want to be an artist, because I never painted in 3D paint before. And I'd only been to one paint class ever in my life, and that had been like over a year before. So life has a very weird way of bringing you to new and exciting experiences. And if you're not fighting every step of the way, you might be surprised at how much of a quantum jump you can have in your life. If you're not looking at everything that happens, like zooming into it and magnifying it more than you need to, just go, okay, what can I learn from this? Okay, but how can I make my life better as a result of this thing happening? Okay? Like, have so much fun with it. And also, please, like, have a value system that you respect. Like, something that's really important for me is peace. And so I'm not really willing to do a lot of things that are going to sacrifice my peaceful nature, right? And so I'm not going to be going to very many social events that are going to have lots of drama. I am not going to involve myself with people who seem to only have dramatic experiences all of the time, because that energy has a way of attaching itself to you if that's something that you're willing to entertain. And another thing that's really important to me is my dreams. And so I spend a lot of time working on my dreams. Like, this is my full-time job, basically, my dreams, right? And so there's just so much devotion in me towards the things that I value, like my dreams, like my peace, and all the projects that I just really adore doing. And so I don't let too many things sidetrack me from that. And so when something happens in my body that is just unavoidable, I really try to take it in and just go, okay, how can I make my life better? And how can I set my life up in the future so that if I have a body issue again, things are easy to take care of? So you can see, like, if you watch my art content versus if you watch this content, there's so much editing in the art videos, right? And so I realized like that was just too time consuming, too labor intensive, and it really wasn't the most optimized way of putting myself on YouTube. So I was like, well, what could I do? Well, I can talk to the camera, I can have minimal editing, and I can basically just make sure that I'm sharing everything that I know, right? Like, I don't know everything, but there are things that I know. Like, I've experienced, I have been through more than once, and I figured, why not create stuff that's easy for me to do and fun for me to do. Like, I really love sitting here talking to the camera because I love being in this kind of channeling state where I basically just choose a few bullet points and that's what I talk about. And the whole time it's just me channeling what the energy I feel into words, right? Because I don't think about what I'm going to say before I say it. I just say it. And I really like doing videos like this. And so far, I mean, my voice still works, so that shouldn't be an issue. So I just want you to remember you are strong, you are capable, you have excellent values, and future you thanks you for your willingness to participate in this type of video, because the sooner you can become your future self, the sooner you can live that life. And the sooner you can stop blaming and hating and getting kind of bogged down in these negative emotions, negative things that have happened, the sooner you can have a fresher perspective, a more lighthearted perspective, and a more well-balanced perspective, I think, is a good word, because the thing is, you never want to be all good or all bad. You want to be in the middle, right? Like, a lot of people are not going to respect your boundaries. So you're going to have to be willing to, like, be rude if you have to be. Now, hopefully you don't have to be, but you have to be willing to be rude to protect the good parts of you, right? And not everyone deserves the good aspects of you. And you have to know how to protect yourself in moments like that. And so if you're just willing to take everything that you've learned all across the spectrum from good to bad and say, okay, I'm willing to use this for my highest good, I think that's a great place to be. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's a heavier topic to discuss, but I felt it was really important and I really wanted to share it. If there's anything that you didn't understand or anything that you loved about this video, please drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to my channel. I am so close to being monetized, so fingers crossed I get monetized soon. That would be wonderful. I would love that. And before you go, I would like to share with you, I have a few artwork print-on-demand items. So these are greeting cards that on the back say meet the artist, and it's all about me. So you can see I've got a lot of different ones. And of course, if you're interested in any of the artworks that are behind me, you can check that out at lemonandsunshine.com. Everything is linked down below. And if you love my outfit, I'm actually going to leave a link for that as well. Have a wonderful day, guys. Goodbye.